Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Jake, this is Press to Play, and here's my review for Sonic the Hedgehog. So Sonic the Hedgehog, directed by Jeff Fowler, is about Sonic in our world, and he causes, he's been hiding out, he causes a big burst of electricity, people want to know what it is, the government sends Dr. Robotnik after him, and, he teams up with James Marsden as they go on this kind of buddy adventure film. So how did I feel about this movie? I've got mixed feelings about it. Overall, I think it's a really good family film. It's good for families and kids, and it's definitely, that is the target audience for this movie. Being a lifelong Sonic fan like myself, you might get a kick out of a few things. There's some references, there's some nods that were really, really cool to see. But overall, this is definitely way heavy in on being a kids movie. Let's just start by talking about, Sonic himself. I really, really, really loved the design, and I have to give them props, all the props in the world, Paramount, Jeff Fowler, for listening to the fans after that first disaster of a trailer and changing Sonic's design, because there are things in this movie, and that was the single thing that I kept resonating with me through the entire movie, is this scene would be so much worse if it was that original Sonic design. So props again to that team for recreating that. I think it did the movie wonders. Ben Schwartz also did a fine job. It wasn't anything like mind-blowing or anything, but he did a good job. He brought a lot of energy to Sonic's voice and mannerisms and stuff, so to that extent, I think Sonic was done really, really well. However, as soon as I saw Sonic start flossing and farting is when I really, really realized that this was a kid's movie. But as Sonic fans, as our kind of demographic here, there's a lot that we can really latch onto, and there's a lot of really cool little references and stuff that you'll catch and you'll be excited about. There's a lot of the cinematography and the shots, the animations and stuff that I really, really, really did love as far as Sonic was concerned. And even Robotnik, or Eggman to an extent, had some moments in there where, again, it was really referencing what I know and love about those characters. And, you've seen it in the trailers and stuff. The echidnas, they're in it for a very, very, very short amount of time near the beginning, but I really, really liked to see those too. The stuff that takes place on Sonic's world is amazing. I loved it. The Green Hill Zone, all the stuff that looks super cool. I love that. The echidnas that you see show up for a little bit look awesome. I loved all of that stuff that was in that world. I don't want to totally shit on this movie because I didn't hate it. It just wasn't for me necessarily, but a lot of it didn't work for me. There is virtually no story in this movie at all. It's really just kind of a point to point joke fest as we're being chased by Robotnik, and it never really went anywhere. There's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of things moving around and stuff, but in between that, there wasn't a lot of substance, and that's why I keep coming back to this is a movie that was designed for kids. It's quick laughs, fun little action scenes and stuff like that, and those things were fun, but overall, I'm kind of bummed out that, they have Sonic the Hedgehog and there's so much cool stuff you could have done. I don't even know what to say. The writing wasn't good. It was unbelievably cheesy and surface level. All of the characters are extremely one-dimensional. You have the super supportive fun wife, and you have the sister-in-law who hates you for no reason, and you've got the, guy who really wants to be a good cop. You got Robotnik, who literally just wants to prove that he's smarter than everybody else all the time and catch Sonic. There's nothing beyond that. There was a couple of jokes in there that worked for me and actually gave me a good chuckle, but overall, every single joke was kind of a hooey kind of moment for me. So the jokes didn't really work for me, the story didn't really work for me, the dialogue didn't really work for me, and the delivery, the acting didn't really work for me. It all felt so just forced and kind of phoned in. It's very, very high level, deliver your lines, let's go home. At least that's how I felt about it. Again, I think Ben Schwartz did a really good job. And Jim Carrey, if you're a big Jim Carrey fan, you are going to love him in this movie. I like Jim Carrey. I like his whole shtick, but it wore out really fast for me in this movie. And some people have been waiting to see Jim Carrey be Jim Carrey again for a very long time. I'm not necessarily one of those people, so it wore off pretty quick. If you are one of those people, you are going to absolutely love every single time he's on screen because he is full force 90s goofy off the wall bonkers Jim Carrey, and it can be kind of fun. Overall, I think if you're a Sonic fan, you will find a couple of little things in here that you'll enjoy, but this movie has almost nothing to do with the Sonic we all know. This is a Sonic that is from an alien world and got teleported because he was in danger, and he's lived here in hiding all of his whole life, and now he's being found out and everyone's like, oh, there's this weird alien, what are we gonna do? You know, it's very, very loosely based on Sonic stuff. My wife and I were joking because at the end, you know, in the credits it says based on the game by Sega, and we both said very loosely based on the game by Sega. The thing that drove me the most crazy about this movie though was Sonic's speed. It is completely inconsistent. At some points he can barely run faster than a car. At some points he literally stops time. This movie itself didn't really work for me, unfortunately. It's kind of what I expected. I was hoping to like it more. I walked out kind of feeling like, it's fine. As far as you guys going out to see this in theaters, I think if you wanted to see it, if you had an interest in it, go for it. Check it out. See how you feel about it. I don't think it's one of those movies that you have to see in theaters and it's mind-blowing and you gotta see this on the big screen. But if you were interested in it, I would recommend checking it out because there's enough in there where you might get a little bit more enjoyment out of it than I did. So I would recommend going and checking it out. The big thing to me is I honestly do hope this does really, really well. I don't think it's going to, unfortunately. But there was a lot of stuff in this movie that I feel like you could pull into a sequel and really expand upon and make very, very, very cool. Like, the seeds were planted. Even though this movie wasn't great, the seeds were planted to make an incredible sequel. Make sure you sit your butt down and wait in the theater for the mid-credit scene, because that's the best part of the whole movie. Overall, you guys, I kind of felt about Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to like it. I didn't really come out enjoying it that much. So that's it for my review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Have you guys seen the movie? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up by hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to be the first to know when I upload a new video. You can also find me on Twitter at PressToPlayOK. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.